Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you were on the lifeboat. What's happening? I'm Tommy and you were on the lifeboat. Good to see you. Chris and Melinda, how are you? Chase the Heat. That's my brother. James Collins Cares, good to see you. Just Joan, how are you? Paula Pedley, good to see you. Sandy Wendy, I'm glad that you're here. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle. West Coast, Fancy Nancy. It's always nice to see the West Coast variety of Fancy Nancy in here. Caratish, Incarnasol, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Let's see who else have we got. Twisted Sister Paranormal, Meredith Lynn. How are you? Good to see you. Hello, Anna. Carol Barnhart. Nicole. Good to see you, Nicole. I'm glad that you're here. Jane Aldrich. Vic Blair. Hey, Vic. Hey, Vic. Good to see you, man. Robin. You like the hat? It's a great hat. It really is. Dawn Davies. Good to see you. Snake. Back again. Laura. Carolina, Canada. Chrissy Akers. Monk. Alex and Metcalf Palumbo, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Hey, Todd. Appreciate you. I promise you I will see it. Hamster Heifer, how are you? Hello to everyone. Good night, Johnny and Tommy. Well, good night to you, too. Bill Herrera, good to see you. Balake Anderson. Well, holy hell, look at that. I must have done something right. And by that, I mean my son must have done something right because I'm seeing your stuff. So we must have fixed that. Thank you, Spanx Calhoun. I probably should have done it. Can you get a 5x5? Jackport, Gemini Girl, good to see you. Ghost Rider, 611. Ghost Rider on the Portland, Oregon in the house. Karen Pooley, hello, Aunt KK. Diane, True Crime Nut. Teresa Clay. Sue Wampler, I don't know your name. I don't remember saying hello to you, Miss Wampler. Good to have you here. Lynn Sanity. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope everybody is doing that. Linda Reese, how are you? Rona Cooley, good to see you. Hey, Mindy Sue Who. Third time watching me today. Oh, that's got to be a charm, right? Third time has got to be the charm. You know what's funny? Lynn Sanity, your emoji actually looks exactly like your emoji did. Blessing through the connection. I mean, your like avatar emoji looked just like it. Kay Canadian, good to see you. Barbara, how are you? Brenda, how are you? Sweet Liberty, Lori Ellingson. Wrote 2 letters today for Q. Well, all right. All right. And I'll tell you something, people. I'm just going to keep it real. Hey, look at you. Look at you. Good to have you here. Much fun from Australia. Thank you. Aqua, how are you? All right. All right. Handmade Hazard. Thank you. I had a very good time on Atwood. It is so good to see you, Lisa. I'm glad that you're here. See what I've done here? If it wasn't for Lisa, I wouldn't wear shades. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't wear shades. Got nuclear physics. Love my classes. Anybody remember that? Got a crazy teacher. He wears dark glasses. Things are going great, and they're only getting better. Would you believe me if I told you that the last time I looked, we were at 60? Can't tell you how happy that makes me. But the last time I looked, we were at 60, people. 60. Shelly Kelly, good to see you. How are you? People, I'm so tired. It's unbelievable. I was talking to my brother. I was talking to my son. I was talking to Reese. All parties involved thought, you should just go to sleep. And I even talked to one of the people that I just talk watches with all day. Also suggested that this might be a good night if I took the night off. But there was Marky. There was a lot of important stuff that needed to be talked about, so I couldn't really blow that off. You notice my R2D2? R2 is great. He, unlike other cheaper and less efficient R2 units, that bad guy right there will actually talk to you. He'll do the beep, boop, 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 all that thing. He'll spin a donut or two. He even has a little thing that will come out and hold a beverage and bring it to you, like a short little squat cocktail waiter. I'm gonna, Allison Metcalf Palumbo, I promise. I'm gonna make this a short one, and I am gonna go. I promise. Wharton Fitzel, good to see you. Goddess Divine, how are you? Barbara Wade, good to see you. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you the really quick. I'll give you the what do we used to call those? Cliff notes. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Q saved my life, and he's the reason that there's a lifeboat. He's asked me to pay it forward, and I did that in large by doing the lifeboat. And then I fell in love with what I was doing, and I found out that he was just so damn right. He was just so right. He was just so spot on that in everything that he told me. He really did. He was spot on with everything he told me. Q is an amazing human being. And we got him a shot. We got him back into court over ineffective counsel. Thank you, James Collins. I really appreciate that. Hey, Tara. It's really the reason that we're here is because of Q. Tara Jackson. Q is look at that. That's friendship. Hey, all right, letter. Who's Q? Q is the reason we have gathered here today. And that's not just today, Tara, that's every day. The reason that I am here, the reason that every day there's a lifeboat is because Q asked me to pay it forward. And at the time I said to him, you know what? I can put money on your books every week. I had a long list of things that, and I had told him, of course, and when I get out, I'm going to go and I'm going to fight this. I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to do everything I can to get you out, blah, blah, blah. And he said, pay it forward, go and try to help some people. And I said, yeah, I want to help you. And he's heard so many people BS him. This is what happens to all convicts. And he said to me at one point, and it sounded really ugly if you would have heard it, because he said to me, listen, man, he said, don't effing promise me anything. He said, don't do this. And I said, I'm not like the other people, man. Like you really did save my life. I really am going to come through for you. And he said, I'm not expecting you to do squat other than walk away and live your life. And that's the saddest thing in the world. But that's what he was expecting, because that's what's happened to every single person he's ever helped. Out of sight, out of mind. But he's not out of my mind. And he got me sober. And more importantly, he talked me into how important it is that all of us as human beings begin to connect again on a real level. We've just become so leveled down with hate. He's hands down, he's the best person I've ever met. Right? Certainly the best person I know who is alive. And there's a lot of great people here. Let me rephrase that. He's the best man that I know who is still alive. There's qualities of him that reminded me of my dad. My dad was the best man I ever met. But this black man I met in prison is definitely number 2 in that list. And I'm going to fight for him until I can't anymore. And I'm asking for help from all of you. And I'm not asking for cash, and I'm not asking for time. I just want you to write a letter. If the lifeboat touched your life, I didn't do it. What does my shirt say? My shirt says Safe Ride. I am on the board of directors of a program called Safe Ride. Safe Ride is designed to get people who drink too much home. So if you're at a bar and you don't have money or whatever, this was based on a friend of mine who couldn't get an Uber, couldn't get a family member to pick her up. And she was a newscaster, a professional news anchor woman. She's really, really kind young lady in her 20s at the time. And fortunately, she didn't kill anyone, which is really a beautiful thing. But she hurt a lot of people, and she's gotten sent away for a long time. And we decided that we were going to start Safe Rides as a way to make sure that if somebody's hammered and they don't have $1 or whatever the case may be, we can always get those people home. And it started in the city that she had run into her trouble in, and it's going to expand throughout the world, I promise. There it is right there. For those of you who pray, that is the prayer, very specifically, the one that I want. The prayer I want for those of you who pray is right there. Doesn't have to get any fancier than that. I want Q out in 2025. That's a tall order, right? He's serving a couple of life sentences. However, we're going to watch this miracle happen. I believe that. We're going to watch this miracle happen, and then we're going to celebrate it in the only way that we possibly could. Tell you what, people, I could barely keep my eyes open. I am tired as hell. A lot of it, to be really honest, we're doing a lot for the lifeboat because we do it this time of year every year. This is a big deal. We want to make sure that people who are doing their first Christmas without somebody, or the first Christmas after a breakup or a divorce or whatever. Christmas is such a signpost, isn't it? It's one of those things that it really reminds us of the things that are going on in our lives, and very often that's tough. That's tough stuff. And I did a lot of tough Christmases inside with him, and you know what? He always had a smile on his face. He was always upbeat. He was always positive. This Christmas, I think, is harder for him. This is the first Christmas since his stroke. He's doing a lot better. Like I said, physically, he looks like Adonis. The guy's in the best shape of anybody you've ever seen. For real. I mean, like, he's really in good shape. But, obviously the stroke did a number on, on some other things, which always happens. His speech is what he's struggling with, although he's a lot better than he was, to be sure. I can't wait to see Q on the boat sitting next to you. I tell you what, from your lips to God's ears, right? Q's mom will be here. She catches the night show every night. She doesn't say much unless she wants to yell at me. Tara Jackson, thank you. And I'm not being funny. Q's mom does yell at me. But is it okay to ask his approximate age? It absolutely is. I am older than Q is. He is. He's like a younger brother of sorts. He was, I want to say that he was born in 1980, but that may have been my girlfriend at the time. I may be confusing it. If he wasn't born in 80, he was born in 81 or 82. I'm about 9 years older than Q. He's younger than I am. So, but he has been in prison since he was 18. Can't wait to see him on Night Yard, right? Amen, Bill. Amen. And I believe, people, I absolutely believe that this will happen. I am so sorry, Yarn Prepper. Yarn Prepper says, first Christmas without my sister. I last saw her Christmas Day last year. Well, that's going to make this a tough Christmas. What a beautiful memory, though, huh? I would celebrate this. I really would. I think that this should be an annual signpost as well, right? This is the time that you celebrate the fact that you will see her again, and it's a beautiful thing. My dad, his mother had a stroke on Thanksgiving Day, and then finally passed away on Christmas Day. It made the holiday seasons tough. Andy, Q is a man that met me in federal prison. He's black. And I mention that because you're not allowed to whites and blacks aren't allowed to hang out in prison, especially at the higher custody levels. They're just not. Even the police don't want it. They do everything they can to keep us separated. They want it to be, they want there to be racism. They really want the racism. So Q came up and just said to me, you know what? You're the smartest dumb person I've ever met. Or you're the dumbest smart person I've ever met, but you're pissing your life away. And I said, pretty funny from a guy doing 2 life sentences. And he said, you're doing life too. You're just doing it on the installment plan. And then he began to work with me, and he gave me lists of assignments and things. And I would say, yeah, I'll do this, but I'm not journaling. And he would say, then I'm done with you. If you're going to go half-ass in this, then I'm not going to waste my time. And he was tough when he needed to be. He was also a very kind and loving person when he needed to be. But when Q gets out, he will definitely get a title. As far as I'm concerned, he is the Commodore of this entire fleet. The concept of the ripple effect is something that, obviously you shouldn't have to have the concept of a ripple effect explained to you. It's pretty self-explanatory. Chicka Cherry Cola, good to see you. I think I also saw Tampa B. Good to see you. Hey, Zelda. this is not something that should have to be explained to anybody, right? It should be logical. Yet not everything is. There were so many things that should have been logical that I didn't understand. The concept of a malfunctioning reward center, I had no idea, right? But when Q was done working with me, a funny thing happened. I got to 6 months without heroin, which is not something that I thought was even remotely possible. And at the 6-month mark, he actually had a cupcake that he was able to score from somebody in the kitchen, and had a little candle made on that thing, and we had a little celebration of the 6-month point. And I remember being super excited, at hitting 6 months, and sort of patting myself on the back a little bit. And this is when he said to me, yeah, you haven't even really started yet. And I said, well, I realized that, there's more sobriety. He goes, no, that's not what I mean. 1 day of sobriety is enough, right? A person who stays sober for 100 years is no more sober at day 7 than they are at day 1. Sobriety is the absence of intoxicants. You understand? What he wanted me in was recovery. And he said, what you're doing now is staying chemical free, right? I'm sober. I haven't done any dope in 6 months. And that was my life. I was white knuckling it. And he explained the concept of peeling an onion. He explained the concept of getting to the core of who you are, and things like journaling and, all of the different things that I do every single day to stay sober, now going on a decade, are things that Q told me to do. And which is, how I got here. And as his mom who's listening, as his mom knows, he's one of the smartest people on planet Earth. I'm sorry. He's one of the smartest people on planet Earth. And he has spent so much time studying sobriety and studying the mind and all of these things that I just thank God that he did, because the ripple effect, again, not something that I believed in or even understood, but the ripple isn't all of the stuff that I've done since the lifeboat started or any such crap. The ripple is that there's a black guy in prison, right, that threw a pebble, and now there's 27,000 people that all get together and call ourselves family. And you know what? I'm not taking any shit for that. Honestly, in the beginning, I heard people say, oh, don't do that, man. Everybody says that stuff, right? We're not really a YouTube channel. I don't call these people subscribers because they're more like family. Well, I got news for you, man. What we do is really, really different, right? What we do is really, really different. Q was the one that said to me, I said, well, we were talking one day, and it wasn't about me. It was about somebody else that was having a conversation with us during lunch. Because, see, we ate unicorn lunch, right? Which means I could sit at a table with a black guy. No other place could that ever happen where I could eat with somebody. But I could sit down at the same table with him at lunch because it was all just unicorn. And it was, somebody said that at the table, he was bitching about a sister of his who married somebody that he hated. And he said, well, you can't choose your family. And I mean, he didn't get Lee out of that, he was in the process of finishing that sentence when Q went, of course you can. Of course you can. What do you mean you can't choose your family? And the guy said, no, you get what you got going, you're born into that. You can't choose that. And he said, oh, no. You're born with the blood relatives that you got, but that's not your family. You choose to make your blood relatives your family if they're worth a fart. But what if your blood family sucks? What if you lost the blood family lottery and you've got somebody that literally abuses you one way or the other? Well, you can't choose yeah, you can. Go build a better one. Lisa Trimble. Thank you. Lisa Trimble is a sister of mine. Make no mistake. By choice, right? I have chosen Lisa Trimble to be a sister of mine. And I know how she feels about me being her brother. It's got a beautiful shaver today. One of those electric ones that you can actually use in the shower. Like you can get it wet and do all of that. It's built specifically for shaving bald heads. I've watched the ad for this puppy about 500 times. But today my brother bought it for me. Not my blood brother, but another brother of mine. In fact, I'll out him. What the hell? Russ bought it for me. And I mailed it to me. It's touching. It really is. But he's family. He's family. Lisa Trimble is family. I've built a sobriety family. And in the process, it's called a bulldog, Kestrel. And in the process of building this sobriety family, I've been blessed beyond belief with the people that discovered the channel early on. And they have been able to spread the message that the opposite of addiction is connection. They've been able to push a message that wasn't mine. Wasn't even a concept that I understood. But, after working with Q every day, I really learned a lot about addiction. And guess what? I didn't learn the kind of crap that you learned in a textbook where it stays in a textbook. I learned from somebody, and it was like the textbook was living and breathing. I mean, I was reading the same stuff that people were, if they were taking a class. Thank you so much. What a beautiful thing to say. And thank you, Lisa Trimble, for your never-ending support. That's all I ask for, people. All of the positivity that you can send, and an email from my friend. I normally would. Do you consider me your older, annoying sister, or am I only family when I'm torturing you with pretty watches? I consider you the Marquis de Sade of watches, is what I consider you. It does, Adam Wood, and you don't. This is nothing offensive by asking this question. It's relative. We're trying to get this man out of prison, so it is something that everybody should know. Hugh was in a gang when he was a young boy. He did not have a father in his house. He had no role model whatsoever. With all due respect to his mom, and I'm sorry, Mindy, but he didn't have a mother figure really at that point in his life either. He sure as hell does now, man. He's got a fantastic friggin' mother right now. But she would admit that he didn't get the best shot when he was a kid. He was kind of like Spanky. I loved him more than anything in the world, just like she loved Q. But when we're in the throes of addiction, it's difficult to be able to do anything, other than take care of that addiction. To be sure. Now, yes, what you are is the Marquis de Sade of watches. You really are, and absolutely a sister. All of these individuals, the people that I'm talking about, all of these people literally are family. If you think that's a sales pitch, then you just don't know me. This has been beautiful. So as a gang member, they use gang members, especially the younger ones, as crash test dummies, right? Send them on a mission. And, the idea was, and, he was admitted it. He was the first one to say to me, that this guy didn't care about him, right? In fact, he said, put a young N-word behind the trigger, right? Get him out. Get one of the youngsters out there because they won't get in trouble. Yeah, they will. He wasn't enough of a youngster. Q was 18, and I mean barely 18. Barely 18. If he had done this months earlier, we'd be having a different conversation, likely. But what happened is they wanted him to go in and rob this old dealer, guy that sold chemicals to catch people, for them to catch a buzz. And he went in there to rob him of his cash, of his stash, all of it. And it was supposed to be a milk run. There was supposed to be, this guy's old. He had been robbed before. He's just going to hand over the stuff. And a very young and a very naive individual agreed to go in there and rob him. And when he did, the bedroom door burst open, and two young black guys came blasting out of it like the movies with a weapon in their hands. One, each had a weapon, and they just opened fire on Q. And Q was a much better shot. He fired twice. Both of them were kill shots. Both of them killed the people that were shooting at him. If that sounds like self-defense, it is. But self-defense doesn't exist if it happens during the commission of a felony. You understand? So the fact that he was defending himself against somebody that was shooting at him didn't matter because someone was shooting at him because he was committing a felony. And he was, hey, Nick, hey, Zelda, he was given two life sentences. Now, the fascinating thing about that is that since then, he has not gotten in trouble again. He's never had a write-up, not one. That means that in, 40 years, 30 some odd years in prison, he's never had cardboard in his cell he wasn't supposed to have. He never got caught drinking alcohol or making alcohol or getting into a fist fight or spouting off to staff members. There are literally 400 and some odd infractions that you can get caught for in the federal system, right? I managed to get 20 or 30 of them just in the last sentence that I did. And by the way, I spent more than half of that sentence sober. Unfortunately, I wasn't good at following the rules in there. But boy, oh boy, Q was. Q was really, really good. He has managed to spend his entire life back there and maintain a job through that entire time, right? Think about this for a second. He has managed to keep a 9-to-5, which is what Unicor is. It's not really a 9-to-5, but it's as close to a 9-to-5 as you can get in a federal prison. And he's managed to do that without getting fired for 3 decades. If a guy gets up every single day and goes to work for 30 years, doesn't miss a day, doesn't get in any trouble, and during that time, doesn't do drugs, doesn't get in a fight, he's proven that he's rehabilitated. Literally, what more would we possibly want, right? I take this miracle any way I can get it, Norma, but what we're looking for currently is a resentencing. We want Q resentenced on his previous crime, right? That's what we want. We want him to be resentenced. We believe that the attorney that handled his original case did it so poorly, and if he had done it correctly, there would have been a different sentence. You know, Q is not, he's guilty. He's not fighting that. He just doesn't think that the sentence was just, and I agree with him. So if they could resentence him to 30 years, right? 30 to life or 25 to life or any of those, that would be it. Yeah, Adam Wood, he's changed absolutely. Now, somebody wrote, boy, I'd like to see you do more sobriety stuff. I would too. I really would. But if we're going to keep it real, you wouldn't know who I was if I was doing sobriety stuff. You wouldn't. The algorithm doesn't push it. Nobody sees it. Go back and look at the last 25 shows I've done. Look at the titles on them, right? You're not going to see a sobriety one that gets 10,000 views. It doesn't matter. I will continue to do it. I don't mind losing the money on it. But I build the channel by doing true crime. That's how everybody finds me, and then they stick around, hopefully because the rehabilitation part of the stuff is pretty good. The letters are being sent to it's a email address or a Gmail address, and all you have to do is send letters to. Sorry, I just got a text. All you have to do is to send an email to there, and we will take care of it. Now, someone sent me something earlier and said, no, that doesn't work, but they were, hold on. It is helpfreeq is the email address. And Russ reached out to me and said that didn't work, but he had put the wrong one in. Abe Froman, good to see you, my man. So help, H-E-L-P, free, F-R-E-E, the letter Q. helpfreeq@gmail.com. Now, I am going to continue to do the true crime stuff, and we will be continuing to talk about sobriety and stepping up that after the first of the year. We always do. You know, we sort of get through the holidays talking about everything because we want to put as much stuff up there as we can. So yeah, currently what we're asking for is a resentencing. If that doesn't work, then we're going to try for clemency. If that doesn't work, we're going to try for a pardon. If that doesn't work, I'm going to keep trying. And by the way, about 5 of you sent me emails since the last show that I did saying, hey, we'd like to send you some money to help out with the legal costs on this. And I can't begin to tell you what that means to me. I really cannot begin to tell you what that means to me. That is the kindest. It says so much about who you all are as an audience. I do not want any assistance financially for this. You can pray for him in a very big way. You can absolutely write letters, and I would like you to do that more than anything else, is write letters and talk about the ripple effect, the fact that there wouldn't be a lifeboat without Q. The fact that, bar none, if you like me, right? If you think I'm a nice person and you really like me, I promise you, you would have hated me. If you had met me before I had met Q, I would be looking to rip you off. I would be trying to get into your wallet. I would be trying to get into your house. I was a bad human being at every angle. I was a bad human being. If you mention the word release, no, you're absolutely fine. You can put in there any way you want to word it. Do not fear. That makes no difference at all. That's fine. It doesn't matter much either. Honestly, we want. Thank you, Timothy. I really appreciate that. I'll take the prayers. I'll take the emails. As far as the money goes, like a couple of you actually sort of thought I was making a mistake, not taking money. You guys don't understand YouTube. I will catch crap out the wazoo. People will be saying that I was raising money for blah, blah, blah. And, people will, I'll be buying a car with it. They just make up stories. I don't need the BS. And I'll be honest with you, being a degenerate junkie for as long as I was, to be able to pay for the attorney of my best friend feels good. I'm sorry, it does. It feels freaking fantastic. And I would not want, Q was busted on it was a federal offense, what Q did. It was a federal offense. And if you're saying to yourself, how can that be? It was where he did what he did. It was simply a gang shooting, but he did it in the District of Columbia. And if you did that in DC, then you have to go to the feds. So that's how he ended up in there. Handmade Hazard says, my partner can relate. He was a horrendous klepto. Yeah, thief. I saved 16 years ago. He's 16 years. Nice. Nice. I tell you what, this is for the both of you. Huh? That's for your effort and for your partner. By the way, True Crime Nut, congratulations to everybody fighting the good fight. And to any of the people that can truthfully say, you know what, the lifeboat has really helped me in my journey, write that letter, man. Write that letter. Send it to that email address for me. This all happened because of Q. Plain and simple, this all happened because of Q. Without Q, there's no lifeboat. Without Q, let's keep it real, there's no Tommy Scoville. There's no H left on but for the most part, that supply of that substance is gone. It's been replaced by Fent, right? By fentanyl. Not the stuff that they give you in hospitals or in pharmacies or whatever, alpha fentanyl. This is an analog. It's a bootleg version of this stuff, and it is absolute garbage. And guess what? It would have taken me off of planet Earth by now. I promise you it would have. I mean, I was doing 7 G's a day, 7 grams a day. If I started to do that in Fenty, I wouldn't have been around for very long. Well, thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. I really do. Works for me. Please be safe this evening. You know what? Love the boat, never an addict, just love the positivity. Well, I think you mean you were never addicted to any substances, right? Because I'll tell you something, I've never met somebody that wasn't an addict. And if you had asked me that a year ago, I would have said something completely different. But I've never met anybody that isn't addicted to something. A cell phone, Facebook, social media, Instagram, whatever. Habits, you gamble. There are people who are addicted to just cutting down on others. Habits we can't control that are bad for us, and we continue to do them in spite of the fact that we know they're bad for us. Now, that could be a physical thing that's tearing you apart. You're getting cirrhosis. You've got DWIs, right? 3 DWIs and you're still drinking, you got a problem, right? I don't tell people when they're addicted. People will write to me, do you think I'm addicted? Jeez, man, if you're asking me, you probably are. But I'm never going to answer that question. It's above my pay grade, right? I don't know if you're a freaking addict or not. And guess what? It's not that easy. Let's say my brother and I start drinking tomorrow and we drink a fifth a day, every single day. Within about 2 or 3 weeks, people are going to go, you know what? They're both drunks, right? They're both alcoholics. However, we're both drinking to excess. We're both probably at that point physically dependent on the substance. But we go, yeah, I'm not doing that again. We're done. Talk to a doctor because you never quit alcohol cold turkey. It can kill you. But let's say the two of us then talk to a doctor and we start our process. And 4 or 5 days into it, I go, woo, Johnny, how good is that? Huh? Happy that's over or what? He goes, yeah, me too. And then that night, he goes out and buys a case of beer. Why? Because the malfunctioning reward center of his brain is telling him that getting that beer and drinking it is as important as taking care of his firstborn. I'm not being dramatic. This is what happens. It's a malfunctioning reward center. How does the reward center of the brain work? Well, it reinforces things. So a doctor comes in and hands you this little bundle of joy, right? The most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Not really, right? Its head is kind of mashed up. The whole birthing process looked like a wet St. Bernard coming through the cat door. It didn't really look all that beautiful. And guess what? This thing is screaming at the top of its lungs and stinking. It's defecating on itself. Why then do we go, oh my God? Because our brain knows that if God didn't hook us up with that feeling right then, that we'd end up throwing that thing out. Duh, jeez. But it doesn't work that way, does it? We are instantly bonded, right? Instantly, in a way that can't be explained. In any way, can't be explained. It's that love of a mother and a child, or a father and a daughter, or a father and a son, whatever. It's that love that can't be explained, right? I would rather die than let something happen to Spanx Calhoun. When the doctor brought him and they handed me my boy, there was a whole entire cocktail full of drugs getting dumped into my brain. Not the stuff I bought, the stuff Mother Nature was doing for me. And what did it do? Well, there was the oxytocin and there was the endorphins and all of these things, right? Dopamine, it all hit at once. And it bonded me to that child. For the rest of my time on this earth, nothing is more important to me than that kid. Until the malfunctioning reward center of my brain did the exact same thing to a bag of a sticky black substance that smells like vinegar and was threatening my existence every time I did it. Zelda, did I do bad? Is it? No, I was thinking that was my next. The next thing I was going to do is maybe I'd start a Le Mans class. Isn't that what it's called, Johnny Scoville? Le Mans. I know it's supposed to be Le Mans, but I don't know. I've heard women give birth, and it sounds more like they're screaming like a Ferrari, right? The 24 hours at Le Mans. Don't send me hate mail. I'm just stupid. Yeah, I won't teach birthing class. It's probably not the best thing for me to do. Tommy, I'm a huge fan. Found your channel from your time with Growing Up in Scientology. 30 years sober. Well, I'll be damned. Blow me up in Chicago. Or just blow me in Chicago. Sorry, I thought I saw an up there. 30 years sober. Congratulations. That is freaking awesome. It really, really is. It couldn't be. I hope you're as proud of yourself as I am. Legalized Freedom says, I have quit everything except alcohol, and I was on everything. I'm trying like hell to quit alcohol, but I can't get past the shakes. Hey, do not quit alcohol cold turkey. You hear me? I'm serious, man. If you have the shakes, right? Cosmic Christie, I hope you sent me a messenger. Those shakes, those aren't shakes, right? That's the delirium tremens, the DTs. You can die from this, my friend. You have to talk to a doctor. You cannot quit that cold turkey. The fact that you've done the others successfully, that's fantastic. In fact, that is fantastic. But do not take yourself off the planet Earth here. Acute alcohol withdrawal is the second leading cause of death in county jails in America. Number one would be people that decided to unalive themselves. But number two is people who go into seizures because they quit alcohol cold turkey. Please listen to me. Benzodiazepines, alcohol, both of them can kill you. You can have seizures. You can't quit cold turkey. Please talk to a doctor. Now, back to that malfunctioning reward center of the brain. As a black man in a federal prison is explaining this concept to me, I thought, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all, man. It really doesn't. Until it does. Until you start to realize exactly what is really happening in your body. And it's why I had to change everything, right? I had to change people, places, and things. These are really the cliches, but I moved. I had to get the hell out of that town. And you go, well, you can't run because no matter where you go. No, I was already sober. I've been sober a long time at that point, right? The problem was this. I rolled down the street and I went, oh, yeah, I rolled the guy, right? I robbed the guy in that parking lot right there. I mean, I got 200 bags of snack off of him. And then you pull up the next, it's like that Home Depot. I put a Mexican fella in the trunk of his car at Pew Pew Point on Mother's Day because I was robbing the guy for drugs because I had to have it every single day, man, every single day. Hey, legal, you've got a family here, right? True story. Whether you know it or not, you got a family here. And a lot of these people are worried about you, right? Legalized, congrats on quitting all the other things. That's a huge deal, right? Adam Wood, I was addicted to being an asshole too. You got it though. It'll work out. Baited you into being a know-it-all. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Christine says, Tommy, are you aware of CATS? I have caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, and sugar. My equivalent of your friend gave me a 3-1 CBT 2. How's the body keeps score by B. Vanderkook? My go-to teach. Yeah, teach someone to fish, and they're probably going to have fish on their breath. No, teach them to fish. You know the drill, and they're going to be set for life, right? We're going to be set for life instead of just handing them a fish. Alcohol withdrawal is deadly. You understand? It's literally deadly. This is such an important thing. You really need to listen to this. Legal, here's the good news. But I got some good news. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, here's the good news for real. We have medical assisted treatment right now, right, for alcohol. And it's a very unique concept. They don't stop you from drinking. Odd. They don't even stop you. It's not like anabuse where you take a pill and if you drink, you're going to get sick. They have a pill instead that's going to turn off the reward center of the brain. When we're addicts, my drug of choice, as I say often around here, was smack. And normally you do that in a syringe. You can also smoke it off a tin foil, which is, believe it or not, a faster way to get it into your body. But the second that somebody put a bag in my hand, the malfunctioning reward center of my brain would instantly kick it in, right? Like this. The reason for this, right? This is the malfunctioning reward center. The malfunctioning, badly malfunctioning reward center. This is our enemy. And what happens is it's reinforcing the bad behavior before the buzz even kicks in. If you've ever had a problem with alcohol, then you're probably well aware of the fact that you can't catch a buzz in 5 seconds, right? You don't have to be a rocket science to figure that one out, right? It takes, 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes for the alcohol to get into your system and do what it's supposed to. Then why is it that the second that booze hits your lips, Right? Sounds like that scene from Old School. So good when it hits your lips, Frank the Tank. The point being, it really is like that in the real world. When it hits your lips and you taste it, you go, ah. We know the alcohol isn't kicking yet. Same thing with smack. I would be in the parking lot, so sick that I'm doubled up in pain. My stomach is hurting so bad that I literally feel like, I'm getting punched in the stomach. My stomach is so loose bowel-wise that I'm lucky I'm not going to the bathroom in my pants. And I'm irritable. I want to kill someone, right? And then all of a sudden, the dude shows up and I get in the car and I go, man, you were supposed to be here an hour ago. He goes, yeah, no, I know. And he hands you the stuff and you put it in your hand. And my hand would close around that bag instantly. Instantly. I'm not stressing anymore. I'm not bitching anymore. Now, did I get well? Hell no. I got to go home, put that in a spoon, do all of the ritual that goes along with that. Nevertheless, instantly, right? Instantly, I start feeling better because my brain rewarded me for buying this. My brain rewarded me for having this in my hand. That, boys and girls, is a malfunctioning reward center of the brain. What it is supposed to do that for is helping out a child, right? Doing something kind for someone else, doing the right thing. In other words, you got a job and you got an 8-hour day. And when you first start working there, you get there about 15, 20 minutes early, right? You get really fired up for your job, blah, 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 all of this stuff, right? What if, right? By the way, sorry. Where did she go? Where's my sister? Where is my sister? I saw her. There you are. I've been listening. Pray you get an idea. Pray I get an idea on my surgery date tomorrow. Could we get some ones from my sister? So yeah, exactly. The brain chemistry is bizarre, right? But this stuff, right? Your malfunctioning reward center is keeping you addicted. So with the new chemicals for alcohol, my friend, you take this and it turns that switch off. So you drink the beer, right? And you get the buzz. You feel the feeling. It's exactly the same in terms of what the chemical does. It gets in there and it starts to knock the inhibitions down. And then it starts to slow everything in the steps that it does. Exactly the same. The only difference is it doesn't feel like all that much fun anymore. Doesn't feel like fun anymore. Why? Well, there was a part of your brain that was saying to you, you did it. You did it. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's what you were supposed to do. This alcohol, more important than your kid. This alcohol, more important than God, right? There's nothing in your life more important than that drink. Bottoms up. Enjoy. That's what the reward center is doing. It's doing the same thing to the heroin addicts, doing the same thing to the guy snorting coke. It's saying, guess what? That blow, more important than Spanx Calhoun. That blow, more important than your daughter. It's also more important than your God. I am a person who believes very seriously in the other side. And the prospect that something that grows, and then gets through that process of scraping off the bulbs and all the stuff. But for heroin, for the reward center of my brain to literally tell me, you know what? That sticky, brown, gooky, disgusting, smelly tar. Yeah. If it comes down to it, you choose that over your daughter. That's what you do. And if it comes down to it, you choose that over your son and your mom and your dad and your brother and sisters and your God. And it's such a strong, the reward center is such a strong malfunctioning device that in the face of horrific, terrible things happening to us, we continue to use, right? The first time you get busted, it's no big deal. They caught me stealing something, but I talked to them and they said, I don't even have to go to court for this. When the 32nd time that you get caught stealing something, you're looking at yourself going, or You get a DWI. You know what? I don't drink and drive. I'm really not that guy. I don't drink and drive. This was one time where I did something stupid, but I'm not an alcoholic. I don't do this. It's not going to happen again. You get a second one about 3 weeks later. It's in your face, right? It's in your face that this stuff is screwing your life up. But your brain is saying, more important than your kid, more important than your God, more important than food, more important than sex. Name it. Name it. This is going to be more important than that to you. And it sounds like if somebody's just listening to this from the outside, well, that just sounds kind of stupid. That can't actually be the case. If we can make a family member understand this as a concept, you know what happens? There's a paradigm shift. You know, the old paradigm. Honestly, now all of a sudden there's a paradigm shift. Yeah. And there should be. Because now everything changes. Now family members go, oh my friggin' God, this is a disease. This really is a disease. There's a part of the brain doing something it's not supposed to, enslaving you, right, into something that you know is killing you. What is addiction? Addiction is continuing to do a substance or a habit in the face of overwhelming reasons to stop. Should I quit shooting this heroin? I don't know. You got no veins left. You've now got hep C, right? There are 4 open warrants out for your arrest and you've been to prison twice. Oh, and by the way, you're carrying a weapon, right? I had a lot of pictures recently that were sent to me, and they're pictures from my past, going back years and years and years. And I was looking through all of them, and all of a sudden there was a picture of me with a kitty cat. I actually sent it to Quibs, but a picture of me holding a little black cat. It's about this big. And I couldn't have been more than 2. It's obviously a holiday. It's like Christmas time. There's a tree there. And I don't know whether the cat was given to me in a box as a gift or what the deal was, but the cat was a gift. I don't know if I unwrapped it or whatever. But I was looking at the picture today, and I'm holding this cat, and I'm just in bliss. You can see this little boy, you know, that just loves, and I mean loves, cats. This is a big deal to me instantly. And I was looking at the picture, and it occurred to me that that kid with the cat, right? That kid was the same guy that walked into Wells Fargo and said, I want the top drawer and the bottom drawer. Take all of the cash out, stick it in that FedEx pack. Start putting the money up there quickly. Quick. Top and drawer in the bottom drawer. Let's go. How do I go from that kid on the floor? Nothing but innocence, nothing that I had done wrong, nothing but potential in front of me for the rest of my life. How do I go from that to the guy that walks into the bank and says, I want all the money? Not once, not twice, a bunch of times. How does that happen? How do you go from being the cute little girl that you see in the pictures when people show you photos of it, the cute little boy, to a guy that sticks a needle in his arm 4 or 5 times a day? And if what I'm saying sounds like, oh my God, I got a news flash for you, my symptom might have been uglier than yours, right? But our disease is the exact same. Even if your symptom is you spending way too much time on Facebook or Instagram or any of those, you got to understand that we're in the same boat. The reason this is called the lifeboat is because we all need a friggin' lifeboat, and we're all in the same boat. I don't care what it is that you're addicted to. It's a malfunctioning reward center. You understand? It's a malfunctioning reward center. So I don't care what your symptom is, right? Symptoms for people who are addicted to heroin, we lie a lot. We also steal, right? From everybody we can steal from. There's a whole lot of symptoms. They're all ugly as hell to look at, and they're all universal. You say, well, I knew people that didn't steal. Well, you didn't get there yet. Because eventually the money runs out. Then you have to continue, you lose your job, you lose whatever, right? But You're going to get to a point where you still have to come up with that $700 a day, and you're going to have to steal. You're going to have to hurt somebody for money. You're going to have to sell your ass, whatever it is that you're going to have to do, but you're going to have to do it. There's no getting around it. I only take flour right now. I am down to buying a zip a month, and I am putting it in vitamin daily boxes, so I only use so much. Well, that's just downright genius. So you are you're doing a zip a month. It's 28 grams. So you're doing about a gram a day, right? A gram a day of cannabis. By the way, I am not a person that I'm not going to judge anybody for anything. It's not my job. It's not my space. But I'll be really honest with you. A gram a day of weed, I mean, if that's harm reduction, if that sounds to me like you're doing a beautiful thing. Sadly, I completely understand this. When you're sick and you need to get well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. The pain is so exquisite. Like Jack, you hear me talk about Jack all the time. Jack was my best friend on the street. We did all of our crime that I did. He was with me, everything. And I've told this story on a bunch of times, but we were sitting there one day and he said, "Hey man, you got a new rig?" I said, "I don't. I absolutely do not have a new rig, And he's like, "Well, give me one of the old ones." And I said, No, I'm not going to give you an old one. What are you stupid? And he said, "No, seriously, just give me one." I said, "Bro, I have Hep C. Okay? I'm not going to give you a rig." I went in the bathroom, took a leak. When I came back out, it was in his arm. And I said to him, "You found one?" He said, "Yeah, yours." I said, "Please tell me you're kidding, bro. Please tell me that you're kidding." He knew he was going to get Hep C from that shot, but he wasn't going to be sick. So he traded the rest of his life, right? It's not that it's going to kill him. It's not. He's getting treatment or whatever, but to avoid the 10 minutes of pain, right? Now, realistically, it would have been a lot more than that. He would have been in pain until he got well. But to use it, it's terrifying how far we'll let it go. I've told the story. I dropped a balloon. It was that big. It went into a hole that was that big in concrete steps leading up to the back door of my house. And I tried to use gum on a wooden stick and stick it in the ground to try to find the balloon and pull it back up because it went through this little hole. And it would come up with dust and rocks on it and all of that stupid stuff, right? Like I said, $1 million arms. That's all I have. Yeah, the Man with the Golden Arm. It's a movie that, believe it or not, Frank Sinatra played the lead role, and he played an addict. It's a beautiful, beautiful representation of addiction. He should definitely have won an Academy Award for it. Sorry, hold on one second. Weed is a medication for a lot of people, and I don't judge anybody that takes weed, for the record. I don't care. I don't judge anyone who snorts blow. I don't judge people that do smack. You want to do heroin? You want to drink? You want to do any of those things? 3% of the people are going to crash and burn. Doesn't matter what the substance is. Now, by crash and burn, I mean they will not be able to handle the substance. I crashed and burned. 3 prison sentences. That's crashing and burning. Johnny crashed and burned on booze. Couldn't do it. It was literally destroying his life. But 3%, right? The vast majority of people are going to successfully use the substance. That doesn't mean they're going to be healthy. They could be pissing away, life doing this, but they're not going to crash and burn, right? So as far as, trading one drug for another, if the drug you're trading for is weed, what the hell is a bad trade? What drug could you trade for weed and have somebody go, "Oh, no, that was a bad decision," right? "Oh, you're on weed? Didn't you have a heroin addiction? Why would you switch to weed?" I personally do not make any judgments of anybody's use of anything. I don't. Now, oh, wow. That's tough. Sorry. Rally, healing, comeback, revival, renewal. I'm done now. Well, poof, it was a good run. I like that. Those were all awesome. My ex-fiance neighbor had herpes, and she would tell guys, and they would still want a raw dog. The use of going without a prophylactic. Yeah, doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Does not surprise me in the slightest. Inside prison, you'll see 5 guys in a room passing a syringe around. 1 out of 4 people in there have Hep C. I don't remember what they said. 1 out of 6 or something are HIV positive. But they're passing this thing around, right? Why? Because they needed to fix. They needed to fix. Nothing's more important. The reward center of the brain says nothing's more important. You got to die for this. You got to die for this. This is more important than God. You think you're going to worry about catching a disease? Think you got to worry about what? Having to steal something out of mom's purse? Having to steal something out of your daughter's piggy bank? Whatever it is, the reward center of your brain tells you what you're going to do and you follow it. Or maybe you accidentally wander onto a show like The Lifeboat, right? Have you heard of a beer called Four Locos? Oh, I have. I don't know that you would call it a beer, but it is malt beverage. I guess it's a beer. I drink 2 or 3 a day, plus weed. Should I get some help? Well, I can't answer that. I can't answer that, Dorothy. Here's my question for you. What would happen to you if you didn't drink any Four Locos for a week? Do you think you could do that? By the way, I don't want you to, but I'm asking a question. Have you ever given it a try to stop? Right? Have you ever tried to not use for, say, 7 days? And what happened? Thank you, red is the best color. Bulldog LLC says, pawned off grandma's priceless pearls for $10. I got news for you. There's a song by John Prine called Souvenirs. And it talks about how the most important things in his life all ended up in pawn shops. And I could tell you horror stories of the things that I have lost for drugs. Horror stories. It used to, every time I would start to have this, even bring up the conversation, everything inside me felt like it was just rotting away, like I was a worthless piece of shit and there was nothing about me worth saving. But I got news for you. I didn't pawn those things. Heroin did. Oh, he's just using a cop out. The hell I am. The hell I am. Without that stuff in my body, the most important thing in my life is my family, right after God. Truthfully, my relationship with my higher power is the most important thing in the world until I get on dope, right? Number 2 is my family until I get on dope. And I'll tell you something. I will steal from you. I promise you I will. And if I got to punch you in the throat to be able to get your whatever I'm stealing from you, I'll do that. I have to. Or I could quit. If I don't let the reward center of my brain malfunction, I'm the Admiral Tommy Scoville. If I let the reward center of my brain malfunction, they call me Rocco. I'm going to be doing a show later on this week with Casper, and I would like everybody involved to feel free to ask Casper about me, because Casper knew me when I was running and gunning and using, and he knows me now, and he'll be the first to tell you I am 2 completely different people. Hold on 1 second, folks. I need to blow my schnozzle again. I'm sorry. For the last like 4 days, I felt like I'm going up and down in an airplane. My head's been, who cares? Says, I don't want to think about how much cash and toxic crap I run through my arm. Well, I was doing this one day. How about this one? $700 a day, 7 days a week. It's $5,000 a week, right? Give or take, it's $5,000 a week. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I did this for 3 decades. 3 decades. Wow. It's Four Locos is awful, man. It really is. Now, Dorothy, here's the deal. Same thing I said to the last person we talked about alcohol, right? There are substances out there that will turn off the reward center of the brain vis-a-vis alcohol. So you'll drink it, but it won't say, hey, wasn't that fun? That was the most important thing you've ever done. That's more important than God. It's more important than your kid. And a funny thing happens when that gets turned off. You know what happens? Meh. All of a sudden, you're just like every other drinker. For real. You'll fall out of love with it real quick. What makes it so much different for you is not that you just love the taste of Four Locos, right? Or you love the smell or the taste of burning heroin. No, the malfunctioning reward center. It's a part of my brain that got off the tracks. I put it back on. I'm going to toot my own horn. Check this out. Ready? This is a first. Tommy Scoville, this one's for you. Right? For real. This one is for you. And do you know why? Huh? When Q told me this was a possibility, I told him he was a stupid idiot. I really did. But he said to me, there is a day coming when helping somebody else get sober will get you higher than heroin ever did. And I honestly remember at the time thinking, that's the dumbest shit anyone has ever said on earth. The dumbest thing anyone has ever said on earth. I'm going to have more fun getting people sober than I am getting high. Man, you are dumb as hell, man. No wonder you ended up in prison. Straight up, dude. You're as stupid as they get. Crazy thing is there's science behind it. Yeah, Q is spot on. There's no question. The nutty thing is there's science behind it. There is. There is nothing in the world that brings more brain chemicals together into one cocktail, right? Other than servitude to others, giving to other people, doing something for somebody, expecting nothing in return, will literally give you a buzz. I promise you. I promise you. It'll give you a buzz. It'll give you a great buzz. It'll give you the greatest buzz on planet Earth, man. It really will. Why, thank you. I really appreciate that. Will you see that? First of all, I want to thank the crew of the Lifeboat for sticking by me for the last 3 years. But make no mistake, there wouldn't be a Lifeboat if it wasn't for my friend Q. If this channel means anything to you, please do me a favor and send me an email, right? helpfreeq@gmail.com. HELPFREE, letter Q, right? helpfreeq@gmail.com. Yeah, you cut out the idiots out of your life in sobriety. Let me tell you something about sobriety. I've heard people say to me, God, you got any idea how boring sobriety is going to be? Oh, yeah. You mean going from sitting on the same couch, staring at the same wall or television for 16 hours a day, waiting for a guy to show up in the parking lot and drop you off a bag of dope, right? Doing this 365 days a year. Oh, the bliss. You're going to give that up for fun stuff boring stuff like going out to dinner with friends, getting to meet new people, sex. Oh, yeah. My substance of choice made sex really difficult. Not that you couldn't get busy. You just couldn't finish it. It was a substance that kills pain. How does it do that? Well, it does a lot of really nice stuff to your to the nerve endings of your body. And unfortunately, they turn nerve endings off in places where maybe we'd rather not have them turned off. But everything is better sober. Everything. Now, I had a guy say to me once, my best day drugging was not as good as my worst day sober. That's bullshit. I'm sorry it is. My best day drugging, you don't even want to hear about it, right? There were 3 people involved. It was magic, right? If I told you the story, it just would sound like magic. It's debauchery, but it was a really amazing time. My worst day being sober, oh God, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, I went into withdrawal that was, epic. I also went for a really long time without sleeping. There were so many bad things that happened to me while I was getting, constipation is the worst. I'll tell you straight out. Look, we're all friends here, right? I buy Fleet enemas in 6-packs. I'll never get over that part. I will permanently have problems using the restroom, dropping deuces, because I spent 30 years strung out on smack. Sorry. Hey, you know what, Legalize? I feel blessed that you found this channel. I really do. Ooh, a lot of really, that's tough. Yeah, John Prine was something, wasn't he? There's a hole in daddy's arm where all the money goes. He wrote some lyrics that were just, Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. Guy wrote some heavy lyrics, man. Heavy lyrics. Like nobody else, man. I thought John Prine was maybe the best lyricist that ever lived. Kristen Melinda, I was RX'd, prescribed fent patches and Percocets. Fentanyl would show in my urine, though. I had vids and pics of me changing a patch, wearing a patch. Matter of economics. 10 4 2-hour pills or 10 a day. Yeah. The other thing is, in theory, Professor Patty, is when you do it in a patch, you get an equal an equal distribution of the chemical throughout the duration of your of it being in your system, instead of those spikes, which, especially with opiates, make people do some really strange things. Thank you, passenger shaming. Well, the last 10 years, I've been, it's not quite 10 years yet. It's going to be 10 years this June, heroin free. Now, I say heroin free because I have not been substance free. I've been heroin free. That was my substance of choice. Since then, I have done psilocybin. I've done mushrooms multiple times. Will continue to do so. It's a substance that I use to go on guided tours. I do the guiding myself, and I go through a guided tour of my brain. It's done really beautiful things for me. I relapsed on Valium and alcohol. I took a bunch of Valium, and I took it not because I was stressed out. I took it because I wanted to get high. It was a no shit relapse. And the next day I came out and did my accountability tour. I did a show called Hey, I Relapsed Last Night, or something along those lines. Another really, the fruit of addiction, right, is lies. We all become vicious liars when we get to that level, don't we? You know, the truth goes bye-bye, and it has to, doesn't it? Right? It has to. What am I going to do? Tell everybody the truth? Hey, Tommy, what are you doing this afternoon? Well, I don't know. I got to steal $700 worth of crap and then call the Mexican cat and have him come over and drop off some dope. Now, I'm doing a bank in about a week and a half. So I'm really just trying to get like a Band-Aid to get me through that time, right? I got a bank I'm going to be doing in Arizona at the time I lived in a different state. I got a bank I'm going to be. You can't talk to people and say that. Hey, how's life? Pretty shitty. Oh, really? What happened? Well, the last bank that I got, that I went in and hit, I got 11 G's out of. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but you know, I was planning on getting a minimum of 18, so I'm way behind, and I'm probably going to have to go and do a bank a lot sooner than I thought I was going to have to do the next. You're going to have that conversation with somebody? No, you have to lie about everything. How are you feeling? Good. How you feeling? Like I'm going to die, right? My whole body is screaming, heroin! How do I feel? Well, not great. My mods are awesome. Boy, there's a lot of truth to that. Best mods in the business. Sorry. Question: did you fall in love with heroin first time? I did. Lost everything quick. Me too. Suboxone gummy. So, yes. Did I fall in love with it the first time? Absolutely. Absolutely. The first time that it went into my arm with a needle, I was on an airplane. And I did it in the back then. You could go into airplane bathrooms. It was a very easy thing to get away with. And a guy that I knew who I skied with, I was really hurting. I had hurt my knee, and we were talking about getting this or getting that, and pills. And he said, "Hey, I got something that'll take the pain away instantly." And I said, "For real?" He goes, "Instantly." I said, "Well, give me it, swallow it or whatever." And he goes, "Oh no, man." He goes, "It's tell you what, just go to the restroom." And I walked back there, and he came back, and he walked right in with me, and the two of us were in that little restroom, and he was like, roll your sleeve up. I said, oh, dude, you're doing this but this was as far as I was concerned, this was an Olympic hero, right? I could trust this dude. And he pulled it up. He said, put your arm out, pulled it out, pushed it back in, and then that fast. I went, oh my God. He goes, yeah, right. Takes the pain away, right? And I said, I'll never forget it. I said to him, Chuck, this is how I want to feel for the rest of my life. He went, oh, don't say that, man. Don't say that. All right, people, I'm going to pull the plug on this because if I don't, I might get all fired up and talk all night. Yeah, I chose poorly. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. On the bright side, right? On the bright side, I got some good news. I'm here to tell you, right? The good news. And the good news is this. Your reward center of your brain, it didn't start out malfunctioning and screwed up, right? So what you need to do is train it to do the right thing. Huh? You follow me? I do yoga. And now my brain goes, nice job. Nice job. That's what you were supposed to do. And I get the same chemicals, right? Maybe not to the same degree, but I get the same chemicals that I used to get when I went and picked up a bag of dope, right? Then I have to keep finding new things that I deserve to get rewarded for. Working out's a good one. Sex is pretty nice, right? There's a lot of things that you can do that are fun. Riding my motorcycle is great. Well, it was. It's not so great today, but this is our job, right? Is to find joy again. And the great thing is that if you get into it, and this is why we journal and do all these things, because as we're getting into it, as we're getting our life back, the reward center is going to reinforce our good decisions. What do I say? Get up in the morning and make your bed. Why? Because I'm telling you, even if it's a key bump for my addict friends, right? Even if it's a key bump, even if it's just a little, it's enough feel-good chemicals to say, this is how we're starting your day. You set a goal and you accomplished it, right? You know that for a lot of us as addicts, we might not have set a goal and accomplished it ever. Start doing it every morning. It'll change your life. I'm not kidding. And the first day you get up and you don't make the bed, what's going on in your head? Something, I promise you. F it. Okay, that's a great. I mean, if you walk through life saying F it, don't worry, we'll still be here. And when you come back and try again, I'll be happy to give you one of these, right? Promise. Oh, sorry, kitty, come here. Did I just snap you with a trophy? What are you doing? Look what I found. Look at this. It's a squirrel nut zip zip. Hey, that's a good kitty. That's a good kitty. Key bumps a blow in the bar bathroom, yeah. Or even worse, laying one out on the back. Oh my God, the stuff that we did. Lay one out on the back porcelain of a toilet. Oh, I'm sure they cleaned that morning. No way. No way. Georgina, thank you so much. If you're crawling through grief, can we get some thoughts and prayers for our friend Georgina, please? Tommy, I had a passenger catch his hair on fire in the bathroom, smoking crack. You know, there's a part of me that just wants to say, you stupid. But there's a part of me that wants to go up and just go, nice. I've worked with better, but not many. It takes huevos to try to, I'm not going to lie to you people. I've done a lot of smoke in bathrooms on airplanes, but I never got caught. I never set my hair on fire. And I probably wouldn't have gone with crack, because nothing will really level you out, right? I'm sure that when you found the person, they were very calm when you suggested, hey, did you just set your hair on fire? What are you talking about? Huh? I was using the restroom. That's all I was doing. They're a lot of fun to be around, aren't they? Bottom line is cold turkey is leftovers in your fridge. Don't try it if you think you might not go well. Withdrawals never feel good. You have to feel a lot of discomfort. You know what? Not anymore. I'm sorry. You do not need to feel a pinch of discomfort getting through that first 72 hours. Medicine can take care of that. You do not need to hurt. I don't care if you're on Fent. I don't care if it's alcohol. I don't care what you are on. You don't have to hurt in the detox process. There are substances that can ease you off of that so that you do not have to feel any pain. So if you've been doing dope for 3 decades because you're afraid of being dope sick, I did that. Got a lot of friends that did that. The time has come, the walrus said. Let's step up, right? We're getting into Christmas. Harm reduction. Do what you got to do to get through the month of December. I'm going to be here with you, I promise. We're going to hold everybody's hands for this entire month, and if you're ready to quit, we're going to hold your hand and we're going to do everything within our power to help you get through that. And if you're not ready to quit, then we're going to hold your hand, right? And we're going to do everything within our power to keep you here and moving forward. Harm reduction, people. Tommy, I can't quit. I get it. What are you drinking? 30 beers a day? Yeah. How about 29 tomorrow? How about 28? Right? You don't have to quit. Little hair reduction, anything. You set your hair on fire snorting a pill. See, I've been blessed in that I don't have any hair to worry about. Snurry, there's my girl. The cat in the basket. You ready to say goodnight to everybody? He's such a good kitty. Here, get up there. All right, people. I am the Admiral. That's a cat in the basket. I'm going to go say goodnight to my girl. And by my girl, of course, I mean the cat. And then I'm going to call Quibs. I'm kidding, peeps. Oh, you can't step on the keyboard while we're live. We've had this conversation. All right, people. That is Squirrel. You guys are the best. And I will see all of you tomorrow. I promise you. Balak, hey, glad you're back. You can thank Spanx Calhoun for that. I'm not smart enough to have figured it out. I will see all of you on the next one. And you're the best audience on all of YouTube. I mean that. God bless.